Tipped in traffic. Cessna 788 Fox Mike will be taking runway 10 for takeoff. Tipped it.
VY in this airplane is 67. VX with 10 flaps is 55.
Okay.
And it happens to be 60 with no flaps. We might want to use that VX.
So you want to do 10 flaps?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and use the 10 flaps.
Okay.
Nice amount of goose poop on the runway.
So 10 flaps.
Climb away, you're going to rotate at 50.
At
climb
50.
away at 55 to 60.
Okay, rotate at 50, 55 to 60.
And it'll accelerate to 55 to 60 almost immediately once you leave the ground.
Okay. All right, let's give her a go.
Okay. All it means is that you had a little too much aileron for the condition. Pick up just a teeny bit higher. And look at your landmark along the side of your nose for the straightness. Because there aren't any clouds to give us a clue.
Right.
There is, however, substantial haze today. Very summery. Alright, so we're well above our obstacles. Let's lower our nose slightly and reduce our flaps.
Okay. So thinking about if I had to make an emergency landing, I have a drag strip to the left and I have a huge dirt pile field to the right. I think the field would be the best choice.
Probably. As you go by the drag strip, you can kind of see that
it's got like a fence or something.
Got like a fence. The road paralleling it might actually be possible. Does not look like it's got power lines along it. Now, if you look down on our right, thinking about emergency fields, might startle some people, but if you could link together two fairways, might not, maybe not at that one, but you could probably get it down on one of the fairways.
Right, okay. And make a hole in one.
And make the news as well, right?
If I make the news and I'm alive, I'll be happy.
Yep, that would be an okay outcome. Now, the reason that airplanes have problems, probably the #1 reason why the engine might fail, is fuel related. And the top two are pilot-induced fuel related problems.
Okay, so running out of fuel, not turning on your tanks, for those?
Yeah, both of those would be something like that. In some airplanes, even though you have two tanks, you do not have a pass-through between them. So they don't have, essentially, a pull from both switch.
Right, okay.
Okay. As a result, the pilots have been known to run one tank dry and not remember to switch to the other one.
I've heard of people having to set flight timers so that they know when to change tanks.
Yes, that's so that you balance the fuel, but also so that you know that you have enough for landing. Okay. I think you can understand that if you get really, really low fuel, there is a chance that the fuel on the inside wing might unport, i.e. the intake, which is at the back, back a little bit behind, a little bit above the fuel sample point.
Okay.
Okay. Could actually become uncovered. So that's why in airplanes that do indeed have two separate tanks, there's usually fuel on fullest tank for landing.
Okay.
Now, we've got a much simpler system. Both tanks are separately plumbed to feed at the fuel selector and then go into the engine. Then we have the pass-through above our heads, which kind of siphons fuel back and forth a bit as well. But every airplane has what's called unusable fuel. A point where the system just can't pull that fuel out of the tank and into the engine. Yeah, and it's about a gallon for this airplane.
Okay.
So about half a gallon per tank. Which is why I focus more on the usable fuel than the unusable fuel, because I don't care about the unusable fuel because I can't use it.
Fair enough.
Doesn't matter. It's included in the weight for the airplane as well. Alright, let's go ahead and do some turns.
Alright, I'll do a clearing turn. Okay, whoa. The gusts kind of want to take me with it.
Yep. So what we're feeling today is kind of the definition of light chop.
Okay.
Where the airplane kind of moves randomly, but there's not really any
Nothing I can do about it.
Upset. Very definitely very controllable. Except when you're in a vulnerable position like the wing is up.
Right.
But even so, very controllable. Your altitude may not change much.
And the airspace appears to be clear.
Okay, good. Alright, let's go ahead and slow the airplane up.
How slow?
I'd like to get the stall warning horn kind of beeping on and off.
Okay.
Or squealing at us a little bit. One of the things I like about the Cessnas is that it is a mechanical kind of read. And it gets more frantic as you get closer and closer to stalling the airplane.
Right.
So there's kind of a... You can kind of learn that there is a progression towards the stall. Well, electrically activated ones obviously will be one tone. Okay, let's go ahead and add some more. See if we can't stay at 1900.
Okay.
So you're looking for basically two things. You're looking to maintain heading and altitude,
you're leaving the
and then finally
frequency change approved.
around the same airspeed as well.
Code, thank you. Okay.
And depending on how much weight, what the density altitude is, I have to have quite a bit of power in there.
Right.
And to actually climb back up, it might be full power. Give us another 10 degrees of temperature and it might be that isn't happening. Yeah, use your rudders. Alright, let's do a nice shallow bank. Go around to the east.
Okay.
So when you bank, some of the lift is going into turning you.
Okay.
Which means that you may not be able to maintain altitude with the same pitch or power. If you're really close to stall, then you have to add power to get more airflow over the wing to generate more lift, because you can't pitch up much. Okay, let's pitch up just a little bit more, see if we can't tickle that stall warning horn. Here's East going by. Go ahead and roll level. Okay, pitch up a little bit more. And you can trim the airplane to help yourself out as well.
Okay.
You can persuade the airplane to...
Just ride the stall?
Yeah, to pitch for that approximate airspeed. So you can think of the trim as trimming for a certain airspeed. If you added power, the airplane would pitch up so that you would maintain approximately the right airspeed. If you decrease power, the airplane would pitch down to go to approximately that airspeed. Alright. Go ahead and practice a power on stall.
Okay.
So we're already really slow, so go ahead and add full power.
Okay.
Gonna need right rudder. Look along the side of the nose or even out the window peripherally to maintain going straight. Too much rudder. There it is. And use your rudders more than your ailerons to recover. And remember that elevator trim stall.
Right.
Alright. Go ahead and recover to normal flight. So let's go ahead and practice a steep turn.
Okay.
Alright, you have a landmark out there. It'd be a little more difficult because, well, you took some of the bugs off.
Right.
Okay. And the horizon's not as good. But there is enough of a, I don't know, horizon out there to be able to actually keep it going. So let's lose that point of land out there.
Okay. And
the airplane could use a bow. And we'll go ahead and go around, your choice, left or right.
okay, let's go left. That was the most uncomfortable one last time, so.
Okay. As you roll in, get towards 30 degrees, you're going to see your nose start to drop, so add some back pressure. A little more. Bang. A little more back pressure as you get steeper. If it really feels weird, then roll yourself level. Okay. And if you're using an outside landmark, my rule of thumb is once it starts to come into the windshield, start the rollout.
Okay.
Because you're going around pretty quick.
Yeah.
So when you roll in, kind of look at where the nose is against the horizon.
Okay.
You may actually be able to see some of the rivets out there.
Yes, I can see them.
Okay. You can actually use those as an aiming point as well. So at least keep the rivet that's more or less in front of you in the same relationship on there, maybe slightly higher.
Right.
So let's come back up to 2000 just as a good starting point. And then we'll give it another try.
Okay. Alright, so we're at 2000. I'm going to go ahead and start the turn.
Okay, you need slightly more back pressure. And maybe you're even going to use a different rivet when you do this. You see how you can see it rising and falling against the horizon? And just kind of flick your eyes in at the altitude. There's your point of land. Roll out, use your rudder to help you stop the turn.
Okay, I lost, what, 20?
I think that's pretty reasonable.
Okay.
Alright, let's go ahead and try that to the other side if you're
okay.
For it.
Yep.
A little different references.
Right.
Potomac approach, Tiger 400 Lima Mike over Gaithersburg. Stand by. Potomac Tiger 400 Lima Mike over Gaithersburg.
Here's your plane.
400 Lima Mike, your transponder observed, proceed on course outside Bravo airspace.
Lost about the same on that one.
We're going to be circling Gaithersburg for about 5-10 minutes before proceeding 400
At the end of the process, you have to stay within 100 feet of your altitude.
Okay. So I'm within specs.
And about 10 degrees of your heading.
Okay.
Plus or minus. Alright. So let's set up for a power off stall.
Power off stall. Okay, so I'm gonna pull the power.
This one you can think of as being in landing configuration. So we are going to want some flaps. And we are going to want to slow up to somewhere near landing speed.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and lower your nose for just a second.
Okay.
So this is also simulating coming down to land and then really screwing it up. So go ahead and pull your power to idle and raise the nose way too much. How to obscure the sky a bit. That's about as good as we're going to get.
Okay.
It fell down and you didn't tell it to do so, so that was the stall. Even if it wasn't particularly dramatic. So I keep telling you to look outside, look at the way the nose is moving against the horizon or against the land, whichever you can see. Part of that is, if you do that in normal flight, you'll see if you're yawing while you're turning or not.
Okay.
Especially if your feet are very inactive. Alright. Have we done a forward slip?
Yes.
Go ahead and forward slip down. Go ahead and practice one of those ground reference maneuvers.
Okay. I'll get us up to 2,000, pull power to 15, you think, or?
Well, if you're trying to lose altitude,
yeah.
Go ahead and pull the power to idle.
Okay.
With the carburetor heat.
Alright, so idle, carburetor heat, and then I'm going to go full right stop, and then
full right rudder, and left aileron, and you can still steer. You can add or subtract aileron. Just whether you're comfortable with how much bank you're going to get. And make sure that you let your nose down a little bit.
Okay.
Just the balance of this airplane is such that when you're forward slipping, you end up with the nose kind of wanting to rise on you.
Right.
But you don't want to do that because that leads you to a stall. And a surprise stall, when you're very uncoordinated, is likely to be very surprising.
Got it. Alright.
Alright, so would you prefer to do a turnaround point or S-turns?
Doesn't matter, I could use practice on everything, so whichever you want to do.
Let's go ahead and do turns around a point.
Okay.
So find yourself
You want me to get down to 1,000 for that?
well, actually 1,200 is better.
1,200?
Yeah.
Okay.
The ground is rising as we get kind of ridgy out here.
So there is a kind of a house back here in the trees that we're passing. There'll be a beam in here in a second. Maybe that would be a good one.
Okay. Kind of has some tall, skinny trees around it.
Yeah. It's directly off now.
Okay. And if you're too far away from your point, what do you need to do?
I need to bank tighter.
Okay.
Now I'm shallow right here. Hello, bump.
There's going to be one or two around here somewhere. And this is with your perfect bank.
Feel like I'm a little closer this side than I was that side.
Well, if that's the case, then shallow a little bit, or if you're good with it, then keep what you got. Okay. But as you go around, if you think about where you have to steepen and shallow the banks, you can get an idea of what the wind conditions here are.
Right.
At least at 1,000 feet there.
I didn't see the pool in the backyard on that side.
Nope.
This has to be much shallower on this side. All right, we're just about back to where we started.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and leave these people alone. Now, where would you have gone if you'd had a sudden engine problem?
Well, there's a field over there and there's a field over there. None of them are great.
Okay. Go ahead and turn back more towards your house.
Okay.
Take a look back behind you as well. Now for me, there were a couple fields that I had in mind, depending on which way we were pointing, because there isn't much time to do much if you're at 1,000 feet. So there's the house. Not too much in this direction. There's a much larger field off to your left, kind of a beam right now.
Right.
So that's probably where I would have ended up going, or possibly over that way.
Yeah.
Now, on the positive side, they're both on the small side, but okay. Now the tan or sandy looking fields, those have just been plowed. So better than a forest, but probably an abrupt stop.
Might be equivalent to hitting water at that point, huh?
Possibly so, yeah. Alright. So let's go ahead and do just a little bit of practicing. Go ahead and pick out a field and we'll pull the power towards idle and just kind of drift down towards it.
Okay. How far away does the field need to be for this?
Well, since we're only at 1,200 feet, it needs to be fairly close.
400,
But part of what we're trying to do is develop your ideas of how far you can go.
Okay, so there's that field right over there.
788 Foxtrot Mike, there's traffic about 2 miles to your south, maneuvering at 2,000 indicated, Cessna Skyhawk.
788 Foxtrot Mike is looking.
You want to turn and head the other direction?
Yeah, we can. Now, I also have an idea. In fact, right in front of us is an actual airfield.
Oh, okay.
It's a private grass field.
I see the traffic, by the way, straight up.
Yep, indeed. You look, there's kind of a slit between the trees
Yep.
here with the green. That actually is an airfield.
Oh, okay. So that would be a good one to practice with.
Yep, that would be a good one. So let's go ahead and pull the power just back to idle. We're probably about 2, maybe 3 miles away, probably more like 2. Not a very busy one. So first thing is airspeed.
So 60.
Pitch for your airspeed. That keeps you in the air the longest.
Alright, so 60 is our...
And by the way, when we get down to about 700, 600 feet, we're going to go around.
Okay.
I don't have permission to land. Then you can also kind of do some, can I make this better? So fuel selector on, full rich,
Okay.
carburetor heat, check your mags, go.
You would turn off
on.
carburetor heat or turn it on?
Turn it on.
Turn it on, that's right.
Yeah. Check your primer, Shell Potomac, and let's go around. You can see that, yeah, you probably would make it. You're about 500 feet on final. Okay, let's pitch up for about 67, climb away. So away, eagle. That was a beautiful shot of an eagle.
Did it fly in front of us?
Flew kind of over that way. But I definitely could see all the usual eagle bits.
Nice.
Now do remember that if the airplane is having problems, you're looking for the best place to save yourself, not necessarily the airplane.
Right, okay. Alright, I'm taking a clearing turn to the left.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Do you have the airplane?
I do.
Okay. Your airplane?
My plane. Potomac approach 788 Foxtrot Mike is heading back to Tipton.
788 Fox Mike, roger.
Okay, my airplane?
Your airplane? About 330, 340, and 2,000 feet.
Okay. So we're at 330 now. And just hit 2,000
look at
feet.
your artificial horizon for the kind of the instant glance of what's going on. The quick update.
Right.
And then the other instruments basically are kind of quality instruments. Am I indeed flying the altitude or heading that I want?
A little tougher than last time.
Yeah, a little more kibitzing from the outside world. A right turn to 360.
Okay.
More overcast it is, the calmer it is due to thermal heating. Unfortunately, that's not true with the more hazy it is. Okay, go ahead and advance your power to about 2,300. And check your trim. Might be okay. turn 330.
Okay, going to 330. If the bumps will let me. Okay. We're catching some updraft here.
Yep, we are. Okay, let's go ahead and start down towards 1,300. We're almost to Crofton, which means that there will be more bumps. It's because there's so much man-made stuff all together.
This is a sure test of me trusting the gauges, because sometimes I feel like I'm doing something different than what I'm doing.
Well, it's an uncomfortable feeling, but it's good to realize that your body is not the best judge of what's going on in an airplane. And when your vision is fully seeing the whole big picture, you don't even notice this kind of body-brain disorientation. But you limit the visibility, and your body tends to try to take over a little bit more. Tipton traffic, 788 Foxtrot Mike is right downwind, 10 Tipton.
Whoa.
Yeah, those are our lovely afternoon updrafts. Okay, the numbers.
Okay. One to 10 flaps. Whoa.
Yep, let your nose drop a little. And waiting for whenever you think 45 over your shoulder is, because it's behind my head.
About right there.
Keep your nose down a little bit in the turn. Use your power to slow the descent.
Going to 20.
Okay. And you can always use your rudder to help the airplane to roll a little more when you've got a updraft kind of working against you. Tipton traffic, 788 Foxtrot Mike is turning final, 10 Tipton. A little more turbulence because the wind is coming over the trees. And just like when we took off, we're getting a little right aileron and just a smidge of left rudder. You see the airplane yaw, use your rudders to bring it back. You see it drift, use your aileron. And ailerons all the way towards the wind.
Okay.
Now, short field, this one says that we're going to stop on the runway, add full power.
This one says, yeah, throttle full open, brakes release.
Yeah, so the true short field, you bring it up to full power before you actually start down the runway.
Okay.
That's so that you get the maximum thrust from the beginning.
Okay. You want to do that this time?
Yeah, we can try that. I just want a better climb.
Tipton traffic, Cessna 788 Foxtrot Mike. It will be taking runway 10, Tipton.
Does mean that you'll need initially a little bit more right rudder as you release the brakes.
More thrust, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And then you'll have to back off slightly.
Okay, so
Wind essentially dead.
it'll come up.
That's fine, yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and go full power.
Full power. There's see about 2200 RPM standing.
Release the brakes. Oh yeah, I see that.
With your feet. Then as we accelerate, the RPMs also accelerate slightly. Okay, there we are. Off we go. This is actually about the pitch we need for the VX climb.
Okay.
Which is kind of high, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So look along the nose for something that's going to tell you that you're going straight.
Okay.
Because there are no clues up there.
Alright, clear obstacles.
Yeah, lower your nose to 60 or more, and then it takes flaps up.
Okay.
So you lose lift when you bring your flaps up. So what we're doing is we're minimizing that loss of lift by increasing the airflow before we take them away.
Got it. I'm going to go ahead and...
Yep, let's go ahead and look and turn. On a fixed pitch propeller, the airflow through the propeller actually influences the RPMs a bit. That's why you see when you're just standing there, the RPMs are much lower than as you start moving along. A little help from Mother Nature, we get up to 1,000 feet. And we can set our power. Think about life and what we want to say on the radio.
Captain Traffic, 788 Foxtrot Mind is downwind for runway 10.
Okay, so pre-landing check for these airplanes is not particularly extensive. It's on the wall here.
Extra rich.
Carburetor heat. And set your power and do what you need to do.
Alright, so we're... One to 10. And we're about 45 degrees.
Just like with turns around a point or S-turns, if you think you have a tailwind, you'll need a steeper bank.
Right. A little bit more power.
Yeah, so we're getting a little slow. Push your nose down a little. Add loads of power. Slow your descent. And then if you're in the right position as you turn final, you can go back to more normal power set.
This says we're a little bit low. So I'm going to leave the power where it's at.
Yeah.
And I want to put the 30.
Yeah. And we're beyond our obstacles at this point. One last little boot in the back.
Alright.
Do kind of a simulated engine out landing here. Okay, as you start down, level and pull. If you're coming down very steeply, you have to flare a little faster, a little earlier.
Alright, so brakes are on.
So full power.
Full power.
And 2200-ish. That's, you know how we do check and recheck?
Yes.
So knowing how much power you should have is one of those things.
Okay.
Okay, so we had a little more wind from the right.
Right at the last second there, huh?
Exactly.
Yeehaw!
Problem is that every time we go through one of those things where we get banked in a little bit, our climb rate decreases for a second or two.
Right.
Making our little airplane climb even more slowly. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, and we'll turn. Now I not only clear just crosswind, but I also look over in this area. Because that would be traffic coming from the western.
Right.
From the east. Crosswind calls are what they call courtesy calls. Not necessarily required. But if someone was coming from over there, I'd want them to know where I was.
So that would be one of those things where you'd call just because you want them to know where you're at.
Yeah, it's just, let's not keep it a secret. And because of this airspace, everybody's supposed to have a radio that works, right?
Right.
There's no guarantee that they remembered to switch the radio or got it on the right frequency, though.
True. Tipton traffic, 788 Fox Mike is downwind for 10, Tipton.
Sure. I was in the pattern with another aircraft, and someone came in from the east, and they weren't making any radio calls. They were flying opposite to what everybody else was using. So finally I said, okay, I can see what his numbers are. Let me switch to 21.5 in the hopes. And sure enough, he had the wrong frequency. If you have time, tell them you're on left base for 10.
Tipton traffic, 788 Fox Mike, left base for 10. Whoa. Fuck the air right now underneath us.
Actually, it just pushed really hard on that left wing while you were in the turn. Tipton traffic, 8 Foxtrot Mike is final 10 Tipton. So as we get closer to the runway, beyond all this extra turbulence, think about a slight amount of right aileron, and a little bit of left rudder. Keep your nose down until the runway's a bit closer. And keep steering towards the center line. So when you get dropped like that, make sure you pull the nose up.
Okay.
So that if you do hit, you're doing two things. You're increasing lift in ground effect, so you're taking full advantage of that. But it slows the descent rate. And if you do hit unexpectedly, you're at least hitting on the stronger part of the airplane.
Right, okay. Right now it's just a slight, but I'm going to expect it because it's happened to me every single time. Go ahead and go full power.
Yep.
22. Rudder.
Might even be the point along the runway that we're taking off.
Okay, should be rolling.
The same for climb. If you can kind of measure the pitch against the horizon, such as it is,
Right.
you're probably going to stay close to the airspeed you need.
Alrighty. I'm going to call that we're clear any obstacles now. Bring the nose down just a little bit. Compensate.
And we just got dumped out of an updraft there as well.
That's alright. Yeehaw.
Well, if we get the chance when you're further along in your training, we'll go up on some of those days that I canceled on during the late winter. Let you figure out why you may not want to go flying on those days.
Well, that sounds like fun.
But it helps if you actually know what you should be seeing.
Right.
Tipton traffic, helicopter 77 Alpha taking off from the east end of the field and turning out to the southwest. Tipton.
Now, what I do for turning downwind is I basically kind of wait till the runway is at least behind my wing.
Okay.
Not necessarily the 45.
Traffic, 120 is turning final for
And as I look out at the runway, should be about halfway, 3/4 of the way out your strut.
Okay.
Which gives you approximately a half mile away from the runway.
Okay. Tipton traffic, 788 Fox Mike is downwind for runway 10.
So that's how I figure out whether you're too far away from the runway.
Alright, so the half a strut thing, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Half or 3/4. Depends a little on which side you're sitting on. Tipton traffic, 8 Foxtrot Mike. Right downwind 10 Tipton. I think I was flapping my gums rather than doing the radio call.
I called us downwind.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're at that point where I can't remember whether you did it or I did it or, you know.
Well.
Smoketown traffic, Cherokee 4452 Juliet 5 East. Landing Smoketown.
Tipton traffic, 788 Fox Mike is base for runway 10. Should have said left base, right?
Right base, actually.
Right,
but yes,
right base.
That would have been better.
Ugh. Winds.
So you need to either turn shallower or later. Make that nice shape. So we're slightly high right now. So we'll also get dumped out of the updrafts in a moment. A little more wind right now. So aileron and rudder. If you're sliding away from the center, use your ailerons back to it. If you're yawing, rudder.
Little skip.
Yeah, we got a little, got dumped there.
Yeah, it seems like,
So,
it almost seems like we should try and pass further into the runway, because we get dumped there every single time.
yeah, once you get that body of information, yeah. So when we got dumped, I saw us sinking really fast.
Right.
So I pulled back fast,
Okay.
which mitigated some of the dump. The other thing that could have been done is adding just
A little bit of power.
a little bit of power, just kind of a in and out sort of thing, which slows the descent for a few seconds. And lengthens the landing as well, but that might be okay.